Hey, what's going on? Tony from howtobuyandsellyyourcars.com. Going live here today. We missed the live stream on Tuesday night, so I decided to do it today. Sorry about not being on schedule, but I wanted to make this video for you. We've been getting a lot of emails on used car inspection tips. So quickly, let's go through a used car inspection. All right, now before you leave, if you would kindly like the video and share it, that would be awesome. So this is a 2000 BMW Z3 M Edition. Okay, and we're gonna go over inspection tips when looking at a used car. I think a lot of you guys will get a lot of value out of this. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna cover is body. Okay, then we're gonna do suspension, tires, wheels, and the next will be interior and electrical. Then after that will be undercarriage and frame. Okay, anybody can do this. Even if you don't know much about cars yet, you can do this. So let's run through it. So the first thing you're going to be doing is inspecting the body. Now, one thing that you don't want to do is inspect the body when it looks like somebody just washed it or if it's completely wet. Okay, because washing it and wetting a car will actually hide scratches, the clear coat. Okay, the water goes into the clear coat and it'll hide very, very light scratches. So you don't want to inspect a car if it looks like it was just washed, or that, say you're pulling up to a guy's house and it's completely wet. You know, maybe he's trying to hide something, maybe not, right? But you never know, he could be. Okay, so you always want to inspect the car when it's dried, preferably, in the sun, so you can kind of see what's going on as far as body damage. Okay, so let's just check the car out really quickly. The first thing is you want to make sure the gapping looks pretty tight, especially on the front end of the car. Okay, we want to make sure the gapping looks pretty much even on both sides. Okay, because this is a different style hood. You got your gapping with your bumper cover and your hood. Same style of gapping here. Okay, if there's any huge difference in gapping, then you know the car probably in an accident. Okay, you also want to check the gapping by your lights. Okay, is the gapping pretty much even on both sides? Okay, so we're gonna check our gapping. Yes, it looks pretty even on both sides. Okay, you also want to check your gapping down in here. Is it pretty much even? Yes, it's even. Okay, the same thing you're gonna do when you're going around the car toward the back, and also your doors. Check the gapping. Okay, are all the gaps even? This is body damage. Okay, if the car was ever rear-ended from the back hard, or if it's maybe a salvage title or whatever it is, you'll be able to see some inconsistency in the lines here. Okay, the back bumper cover. How is everything lining up? Okay, the trunk, each side of the trunk here, does that look good? Okay, these are things that you want to look at. Very subtle, but you can tell if a car has been in an accident and if they didn't do a really good job. Okay, so everything looks pretty much good to me. Doesn't look like this car was in an accident so far. Okay, also, you want to open it up. Check your door jambs out. How do the door jambs look? Okay, does it look like it was painted? No, doesn't look painted. It looks original to me. Okay, as far as the door jambs. Okay, you also want to check the gapping up in here. Of course, it's all good. Okay, now we're going to open up trunk. Check out under the trunk. Okay, sticker looks like it peeled off here, not a big deal. Everything looks pretty much clean. Okay, there's no overspray on the rubbers here, because if the car was painted by a body shop that didn't really do good work, you'd see overspray all over the place, and it doesn't look like there's any overspray, especially on our lights here, right? Sometimes we'll get overspray. Then you'll easily know that the car was painted in the back. Okay, so that looks pretty good for body damage. Okay, so overall, the body looks pretty good. Okay, doesn't look like it was in any major accidents. Okay, it looks pretty clean. Yeah, we got a little bit of rock chips, which is normal wear and tear if you're in a sports car like this. Okay. The other thing you want to check is your suspension and your wheels and tires. Okay. Another important gapping is your gapping between the back of your fender here and the back of your front wheel. Okay. I like to usually just put my hands in and just kind of see where it gets snug. Okay, kind of like that. Give me an idea. And I also do the same thing on the other side to make sure it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. Because if you had a major accident on one side of the car, if they didn't correctly replace some of the parts, the control arm or the hub might be bent, whatever it is, you'll see the difference in gapping here. Okay, and that's also, you could also find out when you do a test drive with that. Okay, same thing with the back. Check the gapping, right? Both sides. You want to check the gapping, make sure it's even. Okay, here and here, right? Both sides. And also, what's important is your tire. Okay, how much meat do you have on your tire? These look like pretty, brand new meaty tires, so we got no problem here. You also want to check your tire wear. Is it wearing on the inside or the outside? Okay, this one looks like it's pretty much wearing evenly. Go back on this side. Okay, we got pretty much nice, even wear. I heard the video is coming out pretty clear. That's awesome. Okay, our front tires look really good. You can see that the front bumper was painted a while ago. Okay, because you can see that got little chips in here from the red. Okay, so the bumper's been painted. There's also a tire wear gauge up in here. If you see this, okay, this is a tire wear gauge. If your tread comes down to this level, you need to replace your tires. This little piece of rubber in there, okay? But we got plenty of meat on these tires, so not a big deal. Okay, also, if you can, I would push down on a corner of the car to check the suspension. So right now I'm pushing on the car, okay, and it stiffens up right away. So we know the shocks are okay. Also, you could go under the car and check out your shocks to see if they're leaking. No, everything looks pretty dry. Okay, we got no cylinders leaking on the brakes, nothing, no leaks. Shocks are dry. Differential looks pretty clean and dry, no leaks, no rust. Okay, everything looks tight. Okay, my exhaust looks fine, right? No major rust around here or leaks or any sort like that. Okay, so the undercarriage of the car looks really well. Let's check out our rocker panels down here. Okay, so the rocker panels look good. Okay, sometimes shops, if they do a bad job, they'll jack up around here and really dent up underneath. Looks like they've been using the proper mounts here to jack up the car. Looks really good under the car. Perfect, no leaks. Let's actually check out under the front. It's a little low, but let's see. So it looks like we got a branch stuck. But if we look under the car, okay, no major leaks. Everything looks tight. Okay. Now, before we get into the frame, let's go ahead and just start up the car quickly. All right, so we got 39,000 miles on the car. Got our parking brake on. Running really nice. Okay, you want to make sure all your power windows work. Let's check the interior out, right? Looks like the seats are clean. Everything looks pretty much clean on the car. Of course, it's very, very low mileage. The dash looks good. Looks like we need a code for the radio. Battery, usually if you see this, then the battery was recently replaced and they don't have the code, or that's pretty much it. You only get this if the battery was unplugged and you plugged it back in, you don't have the code. I don't have the code for this specific car, so I have to go to the dealer, show them my registration, and they can get me the code. There might be another way. So other than that, the inside is very, very clean on this car. You could check the headliner as well. This is a convertible, so if you didn't have a convertible, you'd basically just check out your headliner, right? And the car runs pretty well. All right, so what we're gonna do next is check out the windows like I said. So let's just do this one. You wanna make sure they all go up and down with no problem. Okay, that's super important. Check your horn. Okay, check all the interior electrical. Make sure everything works. You want to turn your AC on. Okay, test all that out. And I know this car works because it's my car. Okay, let's go ahead and pop the hood. And I'm going to turn it off for now. Okay, so when you're inspecting a car and you see that the engine is a little dusty and dirty like this is normal, not a big deal at all. I actually like to see cars like this because it shows that it hasn't been messed with and tinkered with, as far as just a buyer standpoint. Some people like to see it nice and clean and detailed, and I also think it's a great opportunity to actually clean this up and make it look really well for if you want to sell the car down the future, right? So anyway, everything looks good, right? No major oil splatter leaks. It looks like we have enough washer fluid in here, no leaks. We got radiator fluid in here. Okay, but of course you're gonna want to check everything, right? Check that. You want to check your oils. Here's your dipstick for your oil, right? Check your oil. You actually want to pull the stick, wipe it off, then put it in, and then check your oil, make sure that's good. Okay, and just have a look around, see if there's any big damp spots of oil, or maybe a little leak in the radiator hose or anything. Everything looks clean and tight. Okay, so that's what you want to do as well. Just look under the hood. You could check out your master cylinder here. Check the oil out. It looks nice and clean. I actually drained it and cleaned it. Did a little gravity bleed to the system. Okay, so it's super clean. Now the other important thing when you're down here, if you could see it, is try to spot your frame. So if you look at that red bar there, that's my frame. Okay, and if we look at the very, very front, okay, I'm not sure if this is like focusing. It's hard to focus down there. It looks like it's focusing on my AC valve here. But you can see that there's no crinkle in it. Okay, it hasn't been hit. Some cars, if they've been in a major accident, you'll see a little crinkle in the frame, okay, especially in the front and the back. So you're gonna wanna check that, especially if you think something's suspicious, okay? Let's also do the same for the back, kind of show you what the frame looks like if we can get under there. Okay, so it looks like this needs a little bit of cleaning. So let's pull this out. Okay, so it depends on how deep you want to go. You could bring some tools with you sometimes, or maybe the owner is willing to take off a couple of bolts for you and show you that everything looks okay, right? But usually if you pull back a little carpet, you pull out some plastic pieces here, you could see the frame and you can see that it's not damaged, right? This car, obviously it's a convertible. It has a lot more junk in here, which makes it a little harder to check out the frame. Some of the regular sedans, very easy. You pull out the whole back, you could see the frame, you could see where the spare tire is. Makes it a lot easier, okay? So that's pretty much it for checking the frame. Okay, so let's see what else we have to cover here. We did the undercarriage, we did the frame, we did interior, we did electrical pretty much, suspension, tires, body, we did the body. I'm thinking that's pretty much it when doing an inspection. You know, if it sounds funny or if the engine's running kind of weird, you could usually tell when it's running, you know, but this car, it runs really well. I told you to check the AC. Okay. I told you to check all the electrical inside. Make sure your locks work, right? Your auto locks, they work. Okay. If you want, check the CD. Make sure the CD player works. Make sure the radio works. But again, this battery went dead on me, so I don't have the code for the radio. So that's another thing. Another thing is the check engine light. Sometimes, you know, when you start the car up, you're gonna see that the check engine light stays on. Okay, that's not a great sign, but most of the time your check engine light will be on because of a bad O2 sensor. Okay, and it's getting a bad reading and it's showing your check engine light. That's one of the most common check engine light signs, unless it's more like it could be a vacuum problem, right? A map sensor, some sort of sensor mostly. But if the car is running fine and it's not idling lumpy, a little bit of hesitation, then pretty much it's a very minor issue if you have your check engine light on. Okay, so this one we got no lights on. If I take out the parking brake, you can see it goes off. Put it on, it goes back on, right? Runs very smooth, AC works, everything's good. So that's pretty much it. And of course, test drive is another thing. Okay, when you take it for a test drive, maybe we'll do a video on that next time. But you want to take it for a test drive, step on the brakes, you want to feel the brakes, right? You want to feel the suspension, see how it rides over turns and over bumps. You want to make sure it's not making any rattly noises when you're going over bumps and speed bumps. So I recommend actually not to slow down that much when you're going over speed bumps, especially when you're testing out a car that you're going to buy, because that's when you could actually hear something. So if you're in a car with the seller, and the seller has the windows up and the AC on and talking to you and, you know, talking about the world, then you might want to say, do you mind, I kind of want to listen to the car, you know, roll down your windows, turn off the AC, and then listen to the car, feel it and listen to it, because sometimes some shady sellers will try to distract you on purpose, so you don't hear any sounds that they don't want you to hear. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's pretty much an overall inspection. Of course, this is a convertible, so you're going to want to check the back, make sure it's not leaking. It doesn't look like it has a little wear right over here, but it's not even a tear or anything like that. It looks like I could just kind of cut that off. Little wear from opening up the top here. But the canvas is solid on it. I know that you could buy these for about $150, get a new back windshield for it. Okay, other than that, the top looks really good. You're going to want to test out your lights when you're doing a test drive. You're going to want to test out your windshield wipers, make sure your electrical works. Like I said, these mirrors, make sure they work. Okay, step on the brake, have somebody look at the back, make sure the brakes light up when you step on the brake. Make sure all the signals work. So, you know, it helps if you don't have anybody with you to basically tell them to do it while you're out here. Be like, hey, step on the brake for me. Boom, they'll step on the brake. You see the lights go on. Turn on the left signal. Turn on the right signal. And you can do the same for the front if you want. And most of you probably know this, but if you have a signal out, your blinker is going to blink a lot quicker on that side. So if your left signal is out on the front or rear, when you do your blinker test, it's gonna blink like double the speed. You guys get that, right? You guys probably know that, but if not, then you just learned something. So that's pretty much it for a used car inspection. I hope you liked the video, and I'm doing this because I missed doing it a few days ago, Tuesday night. So if you guys liked the video, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. And we'll be doing more videos every single week here teaching you about flipping cars for profit, inspecting cars, making money on the buy, and all that good stuff. So hit the like button, and really appreciate it. If you want to learn more about flipping cars for profit, just check out howtobuyandsellyyourcars.com, and I will see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.